Hello, guys. Um, I just, I noticed last night, freaking yeah, 88, made a video talking about how 2000 was a great year for World Wrestling Federation, and especially during the Attitude Era. And yeah, I'm gonna go up and say that 2000 was a great year. I do agree with you. 98 was also a good year. 99 was also a good year. But let me take you something a year later. That's right. I want to talk about the year 2001. To me, 2001 may have been a better year, in my opinion, than 2000. Yes, 2000 was, the year of the Helmsley and, McMahon era, and we had so many great matches, so many great moments. But I just want to take you back to 2000 for a second. I hope you watch this video. If you don't, eh. But let's start off at the Royal Rumble. Let's start off with the Royal Rumble match itself. Great match, possibly one of my favorite, probably Royal Rumble match of all time. They even had a little hardcore moments in there, believe it or not. Kane was so dominant, and this was back when Kane was unstoppable force. This big, he was the big red machine. You couldn't stop him. It was almost impossible to, at least. Now, obviously, you see him on SmackDown and stuff. He's just a pushover. And then you had Stone Cold Steve Austin winning it, hitting Kane in the head with, I believe, 2 or 3 steel chair shots, and then knocking him out, winning that Royal Rumble. Then you had Triple H with Stephanie versus Kurt Angle and Trish. Trish and Stephanie had a rubber at the time, so that made sense. And of course, Triple H wanted to be, show why he was the best in the world or whatever, and become World Wrestling Federation champion. And of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin screwed him out of that shot because, Triple H and Stone Cold at this time had probably one of the biggest rivalries in WWF history, because Triple H was part of the, it's part of the reasons why that Stone Cold Steve Austin got run over in the first place. So yeah. Then you had the No Way Out 2 out of 3 falls with Triple H and Stone Cold. It was possibly one of my favorite matches of all time. You had the one-on-one match, then I believe you had the no disqualification match, then you had the steel cage to end it. Triple H won. That was just great to watch. That was just great match, And of course, at this time, these were what real storylines were, and put up good matches too. Shows you if you have a good storyline, you can have a good match. And then you had Kurt Angle versus The Rock. Rock later went on to WrestleMania, which built up the Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, which was possibly one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time, which leads to WrestleMania 17, one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time. Great WrestleMania overall. I think Jericho versus Regal was a good opener. A match that I find underrated, Test versus Eddie Guerrero for the European Championship. If you guys don't have a chance, go watch that match. Possibly one of the most underrated matches in them. And sadly, both those guys are no longer living, no longer alive. Rest in peace to both of them. But, again, both, that was a great match itself, I thought. Then you had a hardcore match. Kane, Big Show, Raven. Pretty cool hardcore match. And then you had Triple H, Undertaker, of course, continuing the streak with the American Badass gimmick. And then you had, of course, The Rock and Stone Cold, which Stone Cold turning heel, selling his soul, as Paul Heyman would say, to, the devil himself, Vince McMahon. So, that was a great match and great to see. Then you had the little alliance there you got with Triple H and Stone Cold becoming WWF champion, of course, and then Triple H becoming Intercontinental champion, and both of them becoming tag team champions, which later Undertaker and Kane formed a tag team and became tag team champions themselves. And then I believe, Kane won, I believe at Judgment Day. I think it was Judgment Day that Kane became Intercontinental champion. I could be wrong though. Remember, this was like 9 years ago. And then Stone Cold had the WWF title for like the longest time. Then came, of course, the Alliance, ECW / WECW, which was, the owner of ECW was Stephanie McMahon. And by this time, Triple H was hurt. He was, out of action. So he didn't know what Stephanie was really doing. He wasn't right next to her. At this, remember, Shane was bought out WCW, and so basically Shane and Stephanie versus Vince is WWF. They had the one and only event called an Invasion, where Stone Cold Steve Austin turned his back on Team WWF and joined the Alliance. At that time, that shocked me. I'm sure that shocked plenty of other people. Again, I was like 11 years old at this time. I knew what kayfabe was, but again, this was still a shock to me. So yeah, you had that. Then you had Kurt Angle and the Stone Cold Steve Austin feud. Kurt Angle became WWF champion, and then he lost it. I believe he lost it. Yeah, he lost it back to Stone Cold like the next pay-per-view. Then they finally figured this out with the event at Survivor Series between, again, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then also forgot that Kurt Angle turned his back on Team WWF and went with the Alliance. I think Stone Cold and a couple of other people in the Alliance found it a little fishy of how Kurt Angle did this, because remember guys, Kurt Angle, at this time, his freaking gold medal got freaking thrown into like the Hudson River or something, because Stone Cold's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. What? And he just threw the medal in the in the river. And of course back then, Kurt Angle's gold medals meant everything to him, so he needed these gold medals because he won the 1997. I think it was 1997, 97 Olympics. So and then they had the event at Survivor Series between Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the rest of the Alliance, people like the Big Show, versus Team WWF, which included The Rock and Undertaker, in this big match. And if Team WWF won, they would live. If they lost, they would die, and ECW and WCW would take over. And of course, if WWF lost, WCW and ECW would be dead. And The Rock, and it was interesting, I believe Kurt Angle, I think it was Kurt Angle that he either hit a steel chair or hit the Angle Slam on Stone Cold, or he hit him with the bell. I forget, he did one of those three. And then The Rock came out, hit the Rock Bottom on Stone Cold, pinned Stone Cold 1, 2, 3. You winner, Team WWF. Team WWF won the match. Which means the Alliance died. The next night, Vince McMahon fired both Stephanie and Shane. It's funny seeing Stephanie's face being fired. She was just like screaming. The security guards had to bring her out, and of course at this time also, Stephanie. I think Stephanie had a huge quote-unquote push here, meaning that on air time, because she was getting made fun of by The Rock. She was getting made fun of by freaking Vince. She was getting made fun of by Chris Jericho. Jericho would always have freaking hilarious disses on Stephanie. If you guys remember SummerSlam's theme song, The Rock became WCW champion at SummerSlam beating Booker T. But the theme song was "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor." He would always be like, "Let the boobies hit the floor," because Stephanie's breasts magically got bigger all of a sudden. Triple H. But again, I think 2001 overall was a good year. And then of course, who could forget at the end, the last pay-per-view, Vengeance? You had the unified championships, world championships. You had the legendary, as Jericho would say, he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock at the same day, same night. He beat The Rock right after he beat The Rock. Stone Cold came out because Stone Cold beat Kurt Angle earlier in the night. Then Vince McMahon screwed Stone Cold Steve Austin like twice in the same match, and then Jericho picked up the victory and became the unified WWF champion, holding both the WWF championship and the WCW belt. So yeah, that was the year 2001. To me, that was a great year. I know I missed some other moments, but I'm trying to make this video short as possible. But I think 2001 was a great year in my opinion. Nothing against 2000 or 1999 or 98, but I just love 2001. It's just a great memory of mine, as you guys could probably guess of me just explaining this in this 9-minute, 47-second video right here. So I'm going to end it, and yeah, see you guys later. Peace.